course, everybody's literally losing their mind right now about President. That's a Freudian slip, Donald Trump.
No, he's still President Trump.
But apparently they're still convinced that he's coming back. So corporate media wants you to know that Donald Trump is going to end the world if he gets back into power.
Would a second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president. Because if he is...
You can't imagine the things that he's going to do. Mexico, Canada. We can't go to Canada because eventually Canada will become annexed to America.
And shoot visitors to the White House. Yeah, that means he can shoot the First Lady.
We're going to see violence, the likes of which we didn't even see on January 6th.
Make it illegal to run against him, to throw his opponents in jail, to shut down the media.
He will make himself into the Fuhrer, and he will make everybody raise their hand and salute him.
Using martial law against the American people.
Terminate the Constitution.
To rewrite the Constitution.
Create mass internment camps.
Throw everyone into Gitmo.
Might be sent to jail, or their rights might be suppressed, especially minority groups in society.
You might have any number of things happen to you and your family.
Every one of us, our freedom, our liberty, none of us is safe.
It's going to have people around him executing against an enemy's list.
Assassinate generals.
Ordering troops to attack American citizens.
Trump's very well-armed and extremist base will try to kill people.
He's going to basically burn the house down.
He will unravel the institutions of our democracy.
Draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler.
Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini.
Can I just say,
I am so tired of the Hitler and Mussolini references.
Honest to God, this is a fantastic video because this is what, honestly, again, politically neutral here, but if I'm the Trump campaign, I'm using this as an ad for Trump. If these are the people who are saying get as far away from Trump as possible, it's going to have the opposite.
Yeah, these are not good. These are not good representatives. These are not good surrogates, if you will.
No.
Mussolini
makes Donald Trump even more dangerous.
Wants to take away your vote. Senate and the House are immediately going to be paralyzed.
People will begin in their minds to censor themselves. They might say, well, maybe I shouldn't say this.
This is the end of democracy. Yeah.
I think that could be the end of our democracy.
But democracy is dead if Trump is reelected.
Cozy up to Putin that democracy will be at risk.
The absolute destruction of the Justice Department as we know it.
The Justice Department could be entirely transformed.
I am really concerned about that.
Every person who was associated with the attempted coup elevated in the administration.
If he's reelected, he will curb transgender rights.
The end of the rule of law.
Arrest political opponents.
To persecute, not prosecute, but persecute his enemies.
Take a wrecking ball to the rule of law.
He's going to make the law. Everyone else will have to follow.
A vote for Donald Trump may mean the last election that you ever get to vote in.
To go after the independent and free parts of American civic life.
He would tear down our institutions.
Purge the government of employees.
Department by department effort to weaponize the powers of the government.
To use the military to quash protests.
Ridding the government of all democratic safeguards.
Junking American democracy as we have always known it.
That he would try to stay in office beyond a second term. That he would never leave office.
There's no question.
Trump is reelected, he won't leave.
Donald Trump will never leave office voluntarily.
And what that means is that everybody who wants us to remain a republic has to put every other thing aside and work together urgently right now to stop that from happening.
That was an awesome thing that they put together. So, okay. The major fear mongering is just so consistent across all stations there. Like the fear mongering of the end of the democracy, then about. I don't disagree that Donald Trump has those tendencies, and I don't disagree that those things could happen. But I would suggest that every single one of those people, in their own way, has handedly contributed to the downfall of our democracy over the past 20 years so much that watching them, from whether it's Rachel Maddow or Adam Schiff or Hillary Clinton, these corporate whores who have essentially sold our country to the highest bidders are now trying to fearmonger you about Donald Trump. And again, Trump is gross, and I'm not a fan, and I do believe those things are all possible. Again, multiple things can be true at the same time. But it is such a concise propaganda attempt. It really reminds me of that one based on like weapons of mass destruction that they put together years later, which showed all the talking heads in different boxes saying the exact same sentence that's read to them. And it's the same thing. It's such propaganda.
Yeah.
And by the way, we haven't been a democracy for a long time, Rachel.
And if you look at
haven't
all of
been
the people,
for a long time. We're an oligarchy thanks to people like you.
When you conclude with somebody like Rachel Maddow, when you bring on Michael Beschloss, when you bring on Lawrence Tribe, Adam Kinzinger,
those are
Jennifer Rubin, David Frum,
Lynn Cheney. Like, these are people.
Jonathan Capehart.
Oh my God. Those are the people responsible for the destruction of democracy at a much bigger scale than Donald Trump.
Claire McCaskill. This doesn't help you. This hurts you. This makes people want to vote for Trump just to spite you.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton's never a selling point.
Well, I was going to conclude with, and if you think bringing on Hillary Clinton as the coup de grace, this is why democracy is falling apart, you rigged an entire presidential primary. You did.
Where democracy falls short is things like superdelegates and, Citizens United and all the insider trading and all that. All of that is where we lost democracy. It was long gone before Donald Trump.
Nobody's saying that it can't get worse.
No, I said I think it could get bad. I absolutely
What they are doing is ensuring that it does.
Yes, that, and they're also convincing you that somehow that they are the alternative, that somehow Biden is that alternative. So on the one hand, I do agree Donald Trump is horrible and that things can get worse. But on the other hand, I sure as shit know Joe ain't the solution.
And when you look
that lesser of two evils thing, I'm done with it.
You had people on Loner Box's network that were in this chat. If you scroll up, guys, you'll see, because it's mostly our people now.
Yeah.
If you go up and you will see people in the chat literally saying
they love Joe.
Not only they love Joe, Joe's doing a great job. Oh, and when Joe wins, you're going to be an irrelevance. It's almost like we're going to be persecuted for not supporting Joe.
If they can drag his carcass over any finish line whatsoever,
at this point, it's getting so unbelievably bad.
He can barely keep his eyes open.
Why can't the fact that people wanted to? But that's the thing. We know what the statistical data says. The overwhelming majority of people. There are people that will begrudgingly vote for Joe if they feel that that's the only option that they have. But there's no momentum there. There's no inevitability there. All of that is gone. The overwhelming majority of people do not want him as president again. They don't want to vote for him. They do not like his policies. That's correct. They don't like his policies. So stop it. Listen, if there was one thing that Loner Box brought up.
Every single one of the people and every single person in that video is suckles at the corporate teeth.
Correct.
Every single one of them.
And if there was one thing that Loner Box brought up, that if we really wanted to get into a debate, we could have. Loner Box apparently likes,
he said he likes to argue. He said he doesn't even he said when I first asked him how you got into this, he said, I've come to realize that instead of putting things out, I do a lot better at attacking other people's things that they put out. That's how we started this conversation. So
what I was going to say is he really, he wasn't giving a tongue bath to Joe Biden, but he was suggesting that Biden was somehow a good president. And I don't agree. When he brought up the infrastructure bill is a corporate giveaway of the highest
It's a slush
order.
fund.
It's a slush fund. It's no different. Listen, if you want to...
Where's the infrastructure?
If you want a prime example, like of anybody who's defending what's going on in Ukraine right now and thinking that this shouldn't have ended a long time ago, Zelensky admitted that before he met with the president, he met with all the top defense contractors. Like, if that's not giving away the game, I don't know what is. Like, it's not.
That's who's in charge.
We live in a broken republic. And I wish more and more people would realize.
But I just think, and again, I agree that Trump is bad and things could get worse. I am not delusional.
But you're not doing anything to make it better.
Right. It's happening. Like, we're on this downward decline and Joe's not stopping the boulder. So does Trump speed it up? Potentially. But if it's not stopping, it's not stopping. And I've always thought he facilitates the revolution, and he does. I just wish that the neo-libs would take that energy that they have in the Trump derangement syndrome and actually allocate it to where they could do the most good.
There are people who are still on that train of, you better vote for Joe. It doesn't matter what Joe does because the other side's right. Now, how about maybe if Joe did his job, that would make things a lot more difficult for Trump to get into the White House again. And last thing, please, for the love of God, stop pretending that RFK is not running for president. The guy is polling near the mid-20s.
And they did make a good point that even if he's talking about things, that doesn't mean he can actually do anything or will do anything about those
that's
things.
one of the things that RFK should be questioned on, because the truth is, if there was a cataclysmic shift and RFK somehow got to 30% and was in a path to actually winning the presidency, you better figure out what the hell you're going to do if something like that happens. What is the future of politics? Are we heading towards a situation where we're going to have a parliamentary plurality system? Are we getting away from the two-party system? Are we going to have ranked choice voting? Are we going to have open primaries? How about we take away the party labels during primary elections? There's so many things we could be doing to make this country better.
Yeah, well, again, I don't think there should be parties, but if we had open primaries and ranked choice voting, it would be infinitely better. That would help significantly. But in general, until we make people's lives better, we're never going to have high voter turnout, which means we're never really going to have fair representation. And it means that the corporations are still going to basically own everything, because regular people are just not engaged because they are just trying to live and keep their heads above water.
I agree 100%.
So most regular people that are struggling don't vote, and it'd be easy to blame them for that. But yet I know better. And I know that most people are just like trying to just be able to keep their kids alive and not go into healthcare debt. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.